Well, it's midweek. Of course, we call it Way Back Wednesdays right here on Flow 94.9 FM. It is still the part of the morning show, the platform, and this is the pinnacle of all discussions. Today being 26th day in the month of February 2020. Welcome to the platform. And this is the pinnacle of all discussions. My name is Michael Oni. It is the second edition of the program for the week. The program comes on radio every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday. Now, last month, Abia State government agreed with the organized labor for a 30,000 naira minimum wage for its workers as resolved and being implemented by the federal government. Now, the State Executive Council last weekend also commended the Ministry of Finance for early payment of salary. On the flip side, workers within some parastatals are not smiling at all, just as the pensioners have threatened to resume occupation of the streets of Umuahia in demand for their entitlements. How has Abia State government, in terms of shoring up its internally generated revenue and meeting up with salary obligations to Abia State workers, a funding of capital project, and above all, ensuring prudence in the management of available resources? So many questions begging for answers, but you're at the right spot this morning on the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM. And on the platform this morning is the man who should have all the answers concerning Abia State finances, Dr. Aham Uko, the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, is our guest this morning. Welcome to you, Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Now, let's start with the minimum wage that you agreed with workers in Abia State. What is the table like for the benefit of those who don't know?
Well, I'll tell you, our table is quite robust. We're not doing just 30,000. We're doing 30,100 for those on level 1, step 1.
Okay.
That is the lowest of the low. And it also has consequential adjustments that runs from level 1 to level 16. So I think that what we have, which has been approved by the governor and we commence implementation January, is quite impressive. I keep saying it loud and clear that what we are paying our workers in Abia is higher than what other states, in Eastern Nigeria pay their workers. And so I think it's a commendable feat by our governor.
Okay, I would like you to, quote figures if possible this morning, because some persons are saying it's just about, is it 10,000 naira been added or something? Doctor, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes, please.
Yes, is that about 10,000 naira been added? And I want us to get figures.
No. It has consequential adjustments.
Okay.
What is very clear is that what the federal government has said is not an all-in salary review as such. This is not an Odoji award. It's not a salary review. It's minimum wage adjustment.
Okay.
But it has consequential adjustment attached to it. And if the least paid worker in Abia prior to this time was earning about 22,100.
Okay.
If you add 10,000, you have done more than 40%. So we have done more than 40% increment over and above what the least paid worker in Abia, was earning before the minimum wage. And the good thing about it is that the increment, both to the least paid worker and consequential adjustments, are tax-free.
Okay.
So there is no tax component attached to it. That way, the disposable income or what that worker gets is the entire adjustment. Which to my mind is quite fair.
Okay. How conclusive was the negotiation? How you went about the negotiation and arrived at that particular money? Was it smooth?
Well, you see, I thank the labor because when they see an exercise that is based transparency, honesty of purpose, and sincerity in its entirety, we had difficulty getting them to see reason with us, particularly when it is compared side by side with what is offered by other states.
Okay.
And they see clearly that what the worker in Abia earns is far higher than what his counterpart earns in any of the states around. I can tell you authoritatively that we are among the top 10 in this country. Most states are struggling with 30,000 as the benchmark. Some are doing 30,500 naira, 50 naira as the benchmark. We are doing 30,100 naira.
Okay.
To the least paid worker. So I think that it is fair enough and quite impressive. That is my view.
Well, this feat, because you're saying that Abia State is between the first 10 states in Nigeria to achieve this feat. This feat, sustainability is another question. It is coming at a time that the state government is complaining of the wage bill. What plans does the state government have to sustain the new wage structure?
We'll do all we can to get it sustained. That is why the emphasis now has to be on revenue.
Okay.
Revenue. Not only at the state level, even at the federal level. We know there is a Finance Act of 2019. That Finance Act was very profound, in what it seeks to achieve. Raising government revenue through various fiscal measures, reforming domestic tax laws to align with global best practice, promoting fiscal equity by mitigating instances of regressive taxation, supporting small business entities in line with ease of doing business, and introducing tax incentives for investment in infrastructure and capital market. Now, for us as a state, what we want to do is to ensure that we bring in a lot of people into the tax net. It's not by having multiple taxation, but by bringing in a lot more people into the tax net and ensuring that those that withdraw PAYE, that's pay as you earn, remit their taxes to Board of Internal Revenue. So increasingly we are going to be very bullish with the way we go about payment of taxes.
When you say you're going to be very bullish, what exactly do you mean?
We are going to be very aggressive in the collection of taxes, because right from creation, even during the era of Jesus Christ, they were mandated to pay tax. And so, whereas people also are encouraged to pay their tithe in church, you do not have any reason not to pay your tax, as a taxable adult. And so we must raise that consciousness, by ensuring that institutions, be they parastatals and agencies, or even local government, we found out that prior to this time, local government workers, if their taxes are in some ways, deducted and not remitted to Board of Internal Revenue, we're going to work out modalities that will ensure that all taxes, deducted from civil servants or workers across the state are duly remitted to the Board of Internal Revenue.
Okay.
And all institutions that receive subvention must also ensure that their taxes collected from their respective workers are remitted to the Board of Internal Revenue. Then when we begin to talk about flying revenue, no revenue must fly. We'll clip those wings to ensure that they don't fly. By introducing some levels of automation in the way they are being collected, and then ensuring that we reform the mode of collection. So the bottom line is that taxes or revenue, internally generated revenue, has broad implication, even as it affects your allocation from FAC. It's a component, because calculation of FAC by RAMFAC really is done vertically and horizontally.
Okay.
One of the components in the horizontal calculation of what is due each state is how much you collect as internally generated revenue. So it has wide implication. So prior to this time that we are doing 600 million, 500 million, at least a little above 700, we have passed that threshold. Haven't hit 1 billion in January. We must take it up from there.
1 billion in January?
Yes, we must take it up from there. But in my view, My target is to ensure that by June, July, all things being equal, we must do 1.5 billion and take it up to 2 billion. By December or early next year, we shouldn't be cruising at anything less than 2 billion in my view. Because we need this revenue to repair our facilities. We need this revenue to build infrastructure.
That's just for the month. The 1 billion you're talking about now is just for the month of January.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's like an improvement from what we've had in the past.
Exactly. We've never had that in about 2-3 years. We've never hit 1 billion. Apart from the spike that happened 1 month as a result of certain payments from Accountant General Federation. Otherwise, we've never done, more than 650 million, 700 million max. But what I'm saying is that we shouldn't be excited at that. We need to do a lot more. The opportunities are there for us to do a lot more. If we increase the consciousness of the people and let them know that it is mandatory to pay your tax. And with the governor also being, the governor is taking bold steps across board to ensure that we move away from the level of one of those states. We need to see ourselves compete with environments like Akwa Ibom, environments like River State.
Honorable Commissioner, now we're talking about the internally generated revenue. We're having issues of multiple taxation we've had in the past. I don't know if that has been checked. It has been nipped in the bud.
Yes, we have streamlined that. We have used the Board of Internal Revenue to say that there is a comprehensive taxes to be paid. By every institution, all individuals. There is a consolidated demand notice. It's called consolidated demand notice.
Okay.
That way, ministries, departments, and agencies are not allowed to now go ahead and collect taxes or collect any form of revenue from institutions or individuals. All of that has been domiciled with the Board of Internal Revenue.
Okay.
That now collects at the end of the month. They calculate what comes from your area and give you 20% as an incentive. That is to the ministry. And so we have tried as much as possible to streamline it. That is why I said we don't increase your revenue by way of multiple taxation, really. No. It's getting a lot more people into the tax net and streamlining your mode of collection.
So as it stands now, we're expecting the revenue to, shore up to 2 billion maybe by middle of 2020.
No, we can't do 2 billion by middle of 2020. The thing is that it has to follow a particular trajectory, and each point you get to, you need to stabilize at that point. I think that if we do 1.5 and stabilize at 1.5, that is fair enough for the year 2020, and then put the infrastructure. And
but if you take a look at Abia, for instance, it is the commercial capital of the southeastern part of Nigeria. If not for Nigeria now, you will look at that area, the commercial city of Abia, and take a look at our revenue. One will be asking, why not, we can make as much as 5 billion naira in a month in this state from revenue.
Well, you have to look at where we're coming from, and you have to look at the culture of the people. And that is what the governor has tried to address, by ensuring that you open up the space. The governor is doing road leading to the market. The governor has ensured that power is brought to the market. The governor has ensured that the activities or the products that come out of that area is, gets into the international market. So the implication is that when you have all of these opportunities opened up to the people, they will begin to see the reason to pay their tax. So governor is doing a lot of roads in Abia, and people are beginning to see the difference. The level of illumination, both in Abia and Umuahia, has improved. When that happens, you see that commerce, trade, extends to late into the night. And then a lot more people now bring their wares. Level of security is improved. And when all of that happens, the gross domestic product, of the area, must go up, really.
Okay. It is still the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, second edition for the week, Wednesday, the 26th of February 2020. Well, we can call it a special edition because we have the Honorable Commissioner for Finance here in the studio, Dr. Aham Unko. That's the Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Abia State. And we've been talking about the internally generated revenue. We've been talking about the minimum wage, the one agreed with workers in the state by the Abia State government, 30,100 naira. That's the lowest cadre of the law. That's how much the lowest of the low will collect if you're a worker in Abia State. Now, Honorable Commissioner, we need to take a look at the salaries again. The salary indebtedness to some parastatals have been a recurring issue here in Abia State. I'm sure that you met this in office right before you came in as a commissioner for finance. What is the level of achievement now, and how can we ensure that everyone is being cleared at once? As it stands, ministries, departments, and agencies in Abia State are being cleared according to the government as that went due. But some parastatals are being owed.
No parastatal is being, unless you're talking about arrears.
Okay.
It's a different thing talking about arrears.
Okay.
But as we speak today, the government of Dr. Kezi Bazu has practically given us a marching order in finance to ensure that at the end of every month, pensioners get their pay and all workers get their pay. And I tell you, at the end of every month, we comply with that directive. It's a different thing talking about arrears. These arrears have just came up after several months, really. We have not lost sight of it. What we have simply done is to set aside all the arrears, both that of pensioners, both that of civil servants and ministry department and agencies. And then we are going to design a program where we would begin to liquidate them, gradually over time. But let us achieve the stability which we have done by ensuring that at the end of the month, everybody goes home with something.
So you do not agree with the narration that there are some ailing parastatals in terms of salaries in Abia State?
No, we're not with anybody, because subventions have been paid to all other parastatals that hitherto we're not getting subvention. I don't know. The complaint before came from like Abia State University Teaching Hospital. Yes, but Abia Absut gets its subvention. That comes up to about 139 million every month. Health Management Board, they get their subvention. That's close to about 80 million every month. And so those are the ones that were complaining. If you talk of College of Education Technical Knowledge, they get their subvention. All other institutions get their subvention.
So what can we say the problem is now?
There's no, I don't think. I think that is a misconception.
Okay.
To say that there is any parastatal that is being owed. No, we're not owing any parastatal.
Okay, I would like to bring this in also, talking about salary indebtedness. What about the secondary school teachers?
Secondary school teachers are being paid. I understand that prior to this time, they were owed about 10 months, some 11 months. But we try to address that issue with a disarticulation between ASUPEP and SCMB, that's Secondary Education Management Board, where we had to move in those who are in junior secondary. Those who are in junior secondary, JS 1 to 3, were now moved into ASUPEP. And then while the state government handles SCMB, Secondary Education Management Board, and we have been making that payment. We are not owing them. But the arrears are there, no doubt. As I keep saying, yes, we have arrears and we are not denying it. What we have said is, let us stabilize monthly payment of salaries and pensions. And then, as we improve our internally generated revenue, we will now set aside funds to address arrears.
Okay, the narration outside, Honorable Commissioner, is that the government is negotiating and, of course, has been negotiating with the unions that they should forego what.
No, that is not true.
That's the narration.
No, that is not true. You see, I don't want to talk about what opposition might be saying.
Okay.
This is democracy. People are allowed to air their views on something, but it is not true to say that we have asked anybody to forgo. People were surprised that the government of Dr. Kezi Ikpeazu at some point in his administration is able to make all this payment at once. Yeah, if he has undertaken a staggered payment, nobody will come to tell you, well, they say we should forgo it and so on. But because they have seen that he has started making this payment, and this payment is sustainable, so their fear is maybe this one that he has started paying us regularly now, is he now saying we should forgo the other one? That is not true.
Okay.
That is not the governor's intention.
So when are they expecting the arrears?
Well, the issue is that we are consolidating the arrears. We cannot pay arrears of some parastatals independent of pensioners. And we are working very hard to improve the revenue that is due government. I tell you, that is why we need to improve on our non-oil export areas and all that, and what the governor is doing to ensure that he improves on the area of manufacturing and agriculture, that's in crop production, and all of these areas to infrastructure to boost this entire generative revenue. That's why I keep saying that the way to go is revenue, because from what is going on in the macroeconomic level, look at coronavirus affecting the price of oil. The price of crude has come down to about $56 per barrel. And the implication is that during the last FAC, we came back with 500 million naira short of what we got in January, and almost 700 million short of what we got in December. That is to say, what the state comes back with now is far lower. Because
let's quote figures. I would like you to quote figures, Honorable Commissioner.
Yeah, I can quote figures.
The monthly allocation from the federal government is, as it stands now, how much do you get from the federal government?
Well, last month we got about 4.2 billion, but we came back from FAC this time with about 3.8 billion, less than 3.8 billion really. And if you talk of 3.8 billion and you remove salaries of civil servants, if you talk of gross, the gross is about 1.6 billion, the net is about 1.4 billion. So if you talk of the salaries of civil servants, you talk of pensioners, we have endeavored to bring it short of 400 million, but from the figures really from pensions and establishment is about 540 million today. Now you do using the methodology we have used to bring it to less than 400 million. Then if you add that and then talk of servicing the machinery of government, you will see that if you add up all of this, you are doing more than 2.5 billion. Then what is left?
So what is left?
So what I'm trying to tell you is that the government is as much as possible ensuring that there is efficiency in its resource allocation. We are being very conscious of the fact that these resources are lean, and we need to also do infrastructure. We need to also service certain obligations. We have debts that we need to service. By the time you also service debts and all of that, you find out that you have little or nothing left. So we should applaud the ingenuity of the governor in ensuring that there is stability. Of course, security. The level of security we have also costs money.
Okay.
The governor, not too long ago, provided vehicles to the police. Several vehicles to the police, and he's doing everything humanly possible to ensure that we maintain security, which will improve the level of economic activity in the state. So what I'm trying to say is that the governor is consciously doing a lot to ensure that we rank as one of those states, that has improved the economic well-being of his people. And so he deserves everybody's, encouragement and understanding.
Okay, now that you've made clarifications concerning the arrest of secondary school teachers and some of those parastatals that are being said they have been given subventions, but yet we're yet to see some of them are still complaining. But I would like us to talk about pensioners, honorable commissioners. They are still not happy. What is the level of payment as it stands as of today, and how many months is being owed? because what we get, we want official statement from the government, and thank God you're here today. What we're getting, I'm sure you would definitely like to talk about this. What we're getting from opposition and some persons, critics of the government, is that they have been owed as much as 40-something months of.
No, that is not correct. You see, no, that is not correct. You know, I keep saying that there is no way, falsehood can triumph over truth. Yeah, nobody is owing any pensioner 40 months. That is not true. I know that prior to this time, we had areas upwards, around 20 months thereabout, or 2 years, not more than that, which we have endeavored to look into, and we are making the reforms. And what we are doing is that we can't just start paying arrears, because there are a lot of fictitious names.
Okay.
We have fictitious names in that pensions.
You mean ghost pensioners?
I don't know. I don't want to call them ghost.
Okay.
I don't want to call them ghost pensioners. But we have irregular names there.
Okay. And
we need to expunge all of those names. We have started that process, and by that process, we have saved billions of naira. By removing names. Let me tell you one thing. Do you know, if a pensioner passes on, the beneficiaries are not supposed to take pension on that person's behalf for more than 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're a pensioner also, you have taken pension for 3 years and you pass on, your beneficiaries are not supposed to take pension more than 2 years remaining. It has a ceiling of 5 years.
Okay.
But it is not being applied here. It's not being applied here. That is why you still find our pension bills go up on daily basis. It never comes down. But that is not true. It's not the right thing. So we need to expunge all of those names.
So really, how soon is the government expunging those names?
Well, we want to aggressively address this by next month, because the earlier we do that, the better for us. We are going to do biometric exercise, biometric linked verification by next month. We want it to be well elaborate, and we want to make it as painless as possible by taking our officials across the 19 sub-treasuries. That is why we started making payments to pensioners, so that they at least will have some money, to get to the point where this exercise will take place. We'll have as many points as possible, so that we'll speed up the process. We'll have an ambulance ready. We'll provide them with lunch. We'll provide them with, make it very seamless as possible. But we are certain that by the time we conclude that exercise, as a matter of fact, I need to make it clear that after the payment of pension of this month, we're going to work with the Nigerian Union of Pensioners to ensure that in the month of March, they should support us to conduct a biometric verification.
Okay, when was the last time pensioners were paid in Abia State?
Pensioners were paid?
I mean, pensioners were paid their monthly
they were paid last month.
Okay.
Yes, you are not correct. Most people can't believe it.
No, I needed you to confirm some of the things and narrations outside.
No, those are misconceptions. Since December, more or less, we have been paying pensioners. We paid them in December. We paid in January. We're going to pay this February.
Okay.
If you must know, anytime from Friday, they should be expecting their alert, because the time is 28.
So after the verification, they will get to.
That is for the month of that is for the month of March.
Okay.
That is for the month of March. We will need to conduct that verification, so that we'll properly expunge fictitious names from, our books. When we do that, it will reduce both the amount we pay to existing pensioners and what is considered as arrears, because the basket of funds left there as arrears is quite huge. And so by the time you remove those names, you also reduce the arrears. That then we can now sit down and calculate how much we have as arrears, and then know how to apportion it over time. And God being our helper, we'll do our best
Okay.
to reduce it as much as possible.
Interesting conversation we're having here this morning with the Honorable Commissioner for Finance here in Abia State, Dr. Aham Uko. This wonderful Wednesday morning, I will open the phone lines in less than 2 or 3 minutes or thereabout. But I need to let you know that this program comes up every Monday, every Wednesday, and also every Friday right here on Flow 94.9 FM. It is the platform Wednesday edition, and if you want to be part of this conversation, it's 0808 182 6949. 0811 605 2949. You can also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Hello, good morning to you. Okay, I think I lost that. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner for Finance.
Good morning, my brother.
It's Alvin. I'm calling you from Bend. Yeah, Honorable Commissioner, I must thank you for this clarification. You know, what a major problem in Abia State here is falsehood, spreading of falsehood. Somebody will come and he will, or even be at Abuja or Lagos, and say Abia State government is not paying salaries, they are not doing this, they are not doing that. But I'm happy it's coming from you. Anybody who is not Abia State, who is sincere to himself, must understand that since you assumed office, a whole lot have changed. You know, a whole lot have changed, especially financial management, transparency, and that is the hallmark of Governor Piazzo administration.
Quickly wrap up your thoughts, please, Alba.
Transparency and accountability. Oftentimes, you've come out on radio to explain how much government receives. You see, there's nothing. Where I love this government is because of their transparency. Nothing is hidden. You really inform the state how much you receive from a federal allocation. What we continue to tell people is to believe in this government.
Okay, your time is up, Alba. Thank you very much.
Spreading of falsehood, and together we'll move the state forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution this morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Saham Uko.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
My name is Sowafo Chidebere. Sir, I don't really have much to say other than to say kudos to you. I have to use my dialect to say it because you won't Igbo. Chineke bagume in a habale. But doing fair is a very heavy Herculean task on you. But God being on your side, you've been doing wonderfully well. I believe if we have more of you in some other ministries, which I believe we do, Abia State will move far, far more better than we met it, because looking at your antecedent and what you have upstairs, honestly speaking, you've really changed the negative narrative of the opposition in the state, despite the fact that there were a lot of them who will always paint this government black and white. But notwithstanding, I say God give you the grace, including
right.
our amiable governor,
Dr. Your time is up.
Ibazo.
Thank you
will give
very
all
much
of you
for
the
your
grace to move
contribution.
to a greater height. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Chief Children. Call me about this fellowship for one.
All right. Can you change your location so that we can have a better reception, please?
Thank you. My commissioner, I just want to thank you. I'm a opposition. I'm a member of APC. But I want to thank you because you're a good commissioner. I pray God will give us a commissioner like that. You are trying. But what I want to say, please, I am calling you from Education Board now. They are listening to you. They told me that they are owing them 6 months. So go and find that. I know if you find that, you make sure you pay them. But keep on your job. You are doing well. Please
Thank you.
I am there calling you as supported to you. Now, you know I don't lie. I talk true. I beg. God will bless you.
Thank you.
All right.
We'll look into it.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, welcome.
Good morning. My Honorable Commissioner, good morning.
My brother.
Good morning. There's something I want to say.
You didn't mention your name, please.
My name is Ifeanyi from Afara here.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Oni. Honorable Commissioner, there is one point I want to bring up now. Very, very important. Last year, in January, they employed people from local government. and which my wife is involved. She will go to work from here to Umunoj. She will pay 2,000 naira going and coming. They've not paid them since last year up to now. This thing I'm saying, you go and find out. They've not paid them 1 naira in January. They collected their, they gave them this thing for, they have employed them, and you begin to pay you, they payroll them since January. Even some people before January, up till now, they've not been paid 1 naira. So please, Honorable Commissioner,
all right, wrap up your thoughts,
I
please.
want you to look into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution. Do you want to respond to that, Honorable Commissioner?
Yeah, it's important I respond to it and make them understand that, of course, the recruitment was conducted by Local Government Service Commission, and the local government is, another, tier of government.
Okay.
I think that we will seek for ways to have that addressed, and I believe the local government chieftaincy affairs ministry should be able to take that up with the governor, and then with the respective TC chairman, they will be able to come out with modalities to address that issue.
All right, let's entertain more calls. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Mike.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, I am Mr. Love
Can you speak up, please?
I am Mr. Love
Okay, you're welcome.
Alright. The issue I have here, so many times we have been talking of areas, no payment salary in Abia State. The thing is that as the way we are talking this thing, is it the way that we are improving this thing? It's not just like now, you're saying like March, you are taking, maybe that much now, you won't check anything like you see we complaining the same issue every year, every month, any government they answer the same thing. Why can't we change? Why can't we make a change? Like at least one particular thing should stop. We complain on so many things. At least these areas of payment of salary, should be stopped, and let people should stop complaining about this thing, so that every month they will make sure that every teacher must be paid, or everybody.
Okay, I think we lost that. Is talking about the arrears, probably when the arrears will be paid, and about the arrears for some of those parastatals, I think, and also the pensioners.
You see, we are not the only state in this intricate web. Ours is even far better than what you have amongst several other states. But we are consciously conducting an exercise that will let us know the genuine people that are being owed these areas.
Okay.
Yeah, both civil servants and pensioners. We're also going to conduct a biometric verification of civil servants, after we have done that of pensioners, so that we'll be able to, remove from the payroll several fictitious names, so that there's a cartel really, that they have their ways and means of having these deductions. They are the ones clamoring, pay now, don't scrutinize, pay, just pay it like that. Because they have set up avenues of siphoning this money. And so what we are doing, they are not happy. Really, some people are not happy that we are conducting reforms and blocking leakages. So we must ensure that you cannot, let me speak in vernacular. You don't go and fetch water with a basket.
So there are cartels. The Honorable Commissioner just confirmed that there are cartels. Well, let's take more calls. But before I take more calls, Honorable Commissioner, some pensioners are also complaining that they didn't receive the January and December, although they commended the administration of Dr. Okeze, Victor Ekwazu, and also Dr. Ahamuko, for manning the finances in Abia State. But they are complaining that they didn't receive the January and December pensions.
No, let me tell you what may have happened. We had such cases of people who had Diamond Bank as their bank.
Okay.
Yeah. So Diamond Bank has merged with Access Bank.
Now Access.
Yeah, and all that. So we had issues with those, particularly those that had Diamond Bank as their list. Now we also had those who refused to submit their BVN.
Okay.
We insisted that they should submit their BVN because we had cases where 3 different names. BVN will identify that 3 different names. They are using one account number and all that. So we needed, as a matter of principle, that you must submit your BVN. Now, some had their accounts dormant. So we had failed transactions because, we have not paid pensions for a while. Some of them, those accounts are dormant, and if it gets, it's done through NAPES. Yes,
Okay.
it's done through NAPES, Nigerian Interbank, Now, it bounces back. So we have encouraged everybody, have your account active. 1, submit your BVN. 2, ensure that you register with your your union of your sub-treasury, so that we try as much as possible to eliminate those who are not pensioners but claim to be one. And then I think that, and then some are those that were not in the initial data given to us by pension and pensions board, because those that retired, there are some that retired in November. You retired in November, you now say, you didn't get pension in December, but your name was not given to us by pensions board. But we have tried as much as possible to reconcile all of that now, to ensure that if you retire in any particular month, the succeeding month, you start getting your pensions. So we are cleaning up our database, and we're trying to make it as robust as possible.
Okay.
To ensure that all of these issues are addressed.
Let's take more calls. 0808-182-6949, 0811-605-2949. Also drop messages on 0906-510-8289. It is the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM. We have the Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Abia State, Dr. Aham Uko. Hello, good morning to you. We lost that. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
Yes. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Yeah, my name is Chinemere Nwankwo. I am calling from Umunoj.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Now, I appreciate your Honorable Commissioner for your prudence in managing Abia money. And I'm of the opinion that you be commended for a job well done and encouraged to do more. You have to be mindful of those who call and sing praises only without suggestions and recommendations, sir. Now, I have a particular area of concern. Honorable Commissioner, sir, 5 months ago, precisely in September, the state government came up with a wonderful program of training Abia youth in different areas of agriculture. Your office, whatever concerns money in Abia concerns your office. Hello, sir.
I hear you.
Okay. And about 200 of them, they were sent to Nasarawa State in that regard. Now, the program intended to establish farm settlements wherein these youths will be engaged upon return. It's 5 months now since they came back. They've not heard from the state government and from your office. Honorable Sir, I want to know what is your position on this matter. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your contribution and your question. Yes, Honorable Commissioner.
Well, we have YESO, and we have also a program that addresses youths as it relates to their vocation. We have a scheme called Education for Employment.
Okay.
They handle such things. They have not brought it to our knowledge, actually, that there's supposed to be some level of incentive to be given to those who are trained for them to undertake their own, business or businesses. It has come to my knowledge. I'll not lose sight of it. I'll take note of it, and then I'll make the necessary inquiry. I'll hope to do my best in addressing it in the coming months.
All right, let's take messages on the SMS line. This one says, your guest talks calmly. How soon will the salary arrears be cleared, especially those of teachers and pensioners? Enough of explanation. Okay, that's coming from Eric. I think he already addressed that. Please, I must give you kudos. Please, what happens to those that didn't get a December and January pension? Please, I did not get my December and January pension, and why? That's coming from me. But for those, you explained that, Honorable Commissioner, but for those that didn't get the December and January pensions, how can they rectify some of those challenges you pointed out on the program this morning?
Yes, they need to make sure that their accounts are regular.
Okay.
And they need to ensure that they submitted their BVN to both the pension board and the executives of their sub-treasury. We were making frantic efforts to update that list.
Okay.
And in the month of February, we would make it as comprehensive as possible. If you didn't get your pension for December and January and you're a genuine pensioner, it is not lost. We have different categories of arrears.
Okay.
So it is warehoused. So in the course of repayment of arrears, we will now address how many months being owed everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're still taking messages here. Sir Dr. I thank Honorable Commissioner Sir Dr. Aham Uko for his sincerity and truth about the true fact of Abia State workers' salaries. I want to ask you, sir, what is Abia State government doing to address the payment of local government workers and gratuities and leave allowances from your brother, David Uhebo, from Ohuhu? That's a no more here. Yes, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes, for gratuity, the figures are also huge. They say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one. We're taking it a step at a time. Having stabilized the issue of pensions, we will begin to address gratuity. As a matter of fact, the governor even mentioned it, in a private discussion, that his desire will be to set aside some funds to begin to tackle some of these issues. We are estimating, all things being equal, that from the middle of the year, maybe June, July, we should be able to be setting aside funds on monthly basis to take on gratuities gradually. We can't take it all at a time.
Okay.
Yeah? So let us stabilize payment of pensions, set aside all the areas and agree on the modalities for its payment, and then we'll now take up gratuity such that on monthly basis, if, for instance, your gratuity is 1.5 million, as you mean, we can pay you 100,000, every month, and then we liquidate it. So we'll be able to aggregate, what the gratuity figures are, and then know what portions to liquidate on monthly basis. But all of these issues will be addressed.
This one is talking about the transparency of the government in putting out some of these figures outside. It says Abia State finances, income and expenditure have been shrouded in secrecy. That's coming from Eric. I don't know how you want to respond to that, Honorable Commissioner.
It's a contradiction. He was the one saying that the majority view is that we're being transparent, we're being honest. I tell you, we have enrolled in SEFTAS. SEFTAS is State's Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program for Results. Yeah, and we're also in the Open Governance, scheme. So there is no level of transparency and sincerity, other than what we have done.
Okay.
I think that there is a contradiction in that statement.
We also have messages on our Facebook page. I'm trying to bring that up. As soon as I get that, I will bring up that. But let's entertain more calls this morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning, Michael.
You're welcome. Is that Radio Senator?
Yeah, that's Radio Senator.
Okay.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner for Finance.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Yeah, Honorable Commissioner, sir, I've heard all you said. I think you have said something good as pertains to the side of the government. But to the side of the workers, they are in pain. Honorable Commissioner, sir, I want to say categorically here that when you said you are not owing, I think that issue should be addressed. You are owing arrears of salary, and that is clear. Secondary school teachers and other prestataries, you are owing arrears. That is clear. But when you say you are not owing, it's another word that you should look into. Please, you are owing. Secondary school teachers, remember that you pay them from January, and then
the next one is November, December. And they have not received that of the January, just as you have claimed.
All right.
What they received in December was November, and what they received in January was that of December.
No,
and
okay,
again,
wrap up
secondly,
your
I'm talking
thoughts. He's
about
going to
the
respond to
minimum
that.
wage which you have mentioned. We have not seen that of the list of it. I mean, the production of the list, so that people will know the timetable, what you have at hand. We believe that now you are coming on the radio, you would have even come with it and show to Michael. Thank you.
Okay, that's Radio Senator. A whole lot of, I think he pointed out three things. He mentioned three things, Honorable Commissioner.
Yes, the last, observer, I take exception to what he has said, because we have never denied, and we're not denying the fact that we're owing arrears. And if you didn't hear me, I've said that earlier, that we owe arrears, but we're not talking of arrears. You cannot say we made payment in January that reflects November, the previous year's payment, and you make payment. We have said that is not proper accounting, and we're not going to do that. Any month we pay you is the salary for that month, yeah, and all the others are being categorized as arrears. We cannot pay you in February 2020, and you said it reflects November 2019. The one we paid in January is no, there's nothing like that. So we are owing arrears. We are not in denial, but we have said that from the month of December we are current. We are not owing anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On the Facebook page, on our Facebook page, Ogoma says, Commissioner, what's the problem till now? December salaries have not been paid. He has addressed that. Also on the SMS line, when will the March pension be paid because of the verification coming up in March? Will the verification end in March? That's from IRN. We'll wrap up on that note. Sir.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very poignant question. We will do the best we can to ensure that we conclude it in March and then have March pensions paid to the genuine pensioners, because it's very important that we do not fritter away funds. And there's a whole lot of irregularities in that list, which we must have the boldness to address it once and for all.
All right, I want to really appreciate your time this morning on the program, The Platform, Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Aham Huko. Thank you very much for talking to us on the platform.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's it this morning on the platform right here on Flow 94.9 FM, the flow of God's own state. The program returns on Friday. We've had a very wonderful conversation with the Honorable Commissioner for Finance. Don't forget you can catch this episode of the program on our YouTube page. It's www.youtube.com/FlowFMTV. My name is Michael Oni. Do enjoy the rest of your day. And many thanks to the producer of the program too, Samson Eze.
At Flow 94.9 FM, we've got conducive and well-secured environment for business, high-tech video studio, a state-of-the-art production studio. You can also listen live on www.flow949fm.com and watch our videos on YouTube at Flow FM TV. Flow 94.9 FM, not just radio, but a complete broadcasting house.